Welcome back to this week's episode of LoyalTV, where we visit Muskogee to explore the state's oldest continually operated institution of higher education and learn about the legacy it leaves for the Indian tribes of Oklahoma, and indeed for all Oklahomans.
Oh, this is who we are. We're not just one tribe, but we're everywhere. It was empowering. So we'd share one another's songs and stories, and we'd find similarities. And I began to learn about all of these marvelous tribes. And here I was, surrounded by people who had experiences and life ways that I'd never thought about.
The college founded about 138 years ago to educate American Indians and to educate them in Christian values and generally the liberal arts too. The founder was a man named Bacone. He came for the specific purpose of coming to Indian territory. If you can bring American Indians to a place, convert them, and teach them the Christian ways, then they become the best missionaries. In fact, American Indians would be baptized here. Students were baptized, hundreds of students were baptized. Bacone, just outside of this lodge, Ataloa Lodge, is a baptistry that still exists. It was built 1880s. And all the way up to World War II, usually the presidents of the college, they would actually baptize students. The buildings are all really beautiful, and when you walk through them, there's a sense of the old, so to speak, you know. A spirit of the past that you find around here, a spirit of the American Indian past, but also white civilization too. It's a combination of both of them. Well, Bacone was married, and his wife had known John D. Rockefeller when she was younger. So when Elman found out that his wife knew Rockefeller, and Rockefeller was, of course, extremely rich, he had dinner with him, asked him if he could support the school, and Rockefeller donated an initial $10,000, and it helped provide the money to build the first building on campus, which was appropriately named Rockefeller Hall. It was torn down about 50 years later. But Rockefeller Hall served as classroom building, dormitory, lunchroom, laundry, you know, everything. Bacone was president of the school from 1880 to 1896, and he had that affiliation with Rockefeller, and so Rockefeller would sometimes donate extra thousands of dollars. And so every decade, Bacone College has struggled to continue this purpose and mission it has. It's really remarkable that it's been around 138 years.
I was here in the fall of '53, and I knew there was an emphasis on Indian education. I was totally unprepared for all these Indians. They weren't all Cherokee and Creek. We had students all the way from California to Massachusetts. We had a student from Canada, and all in between, tribes I had never heard of. And we had a mixture in faculty. There were Native Americans on the faculty. So I began to do a lot of reading on Native American history and the tribes. But, I was just overwhelmed. And developed some lifelong relationships.
It is a college that represents Oklahoma because it reaches out to all the different tribes. And we have a lot of tribes in Oklahoma, and it reaches out to all those different tribes. So in a way, it sort of symbolizes the history of Oklahoma in that sense.
That there is not another place in this country that has a collection of buildings of this quality, of this size, built on the foundation of donations from Indian people. All the things that are in here come from the families, they come from the students. Nowhere else was there such a collection by Indians. In a way, it's a memorial.
And so it's well known among American Indians. It's just that it's not as well known among the rest of the culture in Oklahoma and the United States.
Talk about something that's worthy in terms of heritage and memorializing of people demonstrating their belief in this institution. This is what you do with your resources. You share it, you give it. And these buildings are still standing and they're still being used.
Join us next week when we visit Bartlesville, Oklahoma, where one man's creativity towers 19 stories over the plains of eastern Oklahoma, only on LoyalTV.